Una-una ay congratulate natin ang Minda na ang DNR, ang local chief executives, LGUs, sa napakagandang programa nitong strategic forestry project. Dahil ito talaga ang long-term, credible, sustainable solution sa mga pagbabaha, sa pag-anod, sa pagsasalanta, dulot ng malalakas na ulan. At hindi lamang yan, ay may mga collateral na benefits pa itong strategic project na ito. Kaya natutuwa tayo na dito nagsimula ito sa Region 10. Maasahan po ang total support ng DILG, sa PNP, sa Bureau of Fire, sa Bureau of Jail, sa ating mga local chief executives sa tagumpay nitong project na ito. Dahil dito nakikita na ang mga komunidad mismo, ang mga mamamayan mismo, ang siyang lumilika, ang siyang gumagawa ng solusyon sa pangmatagalang solusyon sa problema ito. Na taon-taon ay binabaha tayo, binabagyo tayo. At alam ko, nung kapanahunan ng Typhoon Sendong ay talagang malaking trahedya ang dumating dito. Dahil nga, lumagasa yung ilog hanggang natangay na nasalanta yung mga komunidad. So, apart from yung paglilikas at pagdadala sa ligtas na lugar, ang ating mga informal settlers at iba pa, kabahagi din ito para nga yung tubig ay mananatili at tatagal, hindi yung natagasa lang downstream into the community. So, kinukongratulate ko ang lahat at maasahan po ninyo, hindi namin kayo pababayaan.
At una-una po, gusto kong pasalamatan si Secretary Rojas sa tulong na binibigay niya po sa amin. Kung kami lamang ay baka hindi namin maubos yung 8 milyong hektare ang katamnan. Subalit hinikayat niya lahat ng LGU, lahat ng lokal at lahat ng barangay ay pagtatanimin niya. At kung magtanim po yan, kinumpute namin 10,000 seedling lang per barangay times that will be equivalent to 20 hectares per barangay. Multiply niyo po yan sa 42,000 barangay. At yan naaabot ng halos 840,000 hectares. Kalahati ng target ng Pangulo na matamnan by 2016 kayang i-deliver ng LGUs lamang. So ganyan po kalaki ang pasasalamat namin kay Sekbar at kay tinutulungan niya kami dito sa programa.
Parating sa kay Secretary Marujas at Secretary Magpahi ang malaking pasasalamat hindi lang sa akin kung kinakatawanan ng tribo talaan din ng relasyon. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Sa inyong tanan, yes, nalipay ko kahapon na rin o ako lang ipahibalo that this program, the Mindanao program, what we call the Nurturing Our Waters, is a collaboration of all agencies, but most especially with DILG and Secretary Mar and Secretary Monpahi here. Kaya ang ato intawon na forest cover ng gamay na nagkamay na, and as we know nga kaniadto typhoon free kita karon dili na, and we have to act now in order that the next generation will not blame us for abusing the environment that they will inherit from us in the future. Thank you. Okay.
Tuloy-tuloy na proteksyon ng ating kalikasan. Sustainability natin pagdating sa.
Alam niyo po, pag tinignan niyo yan, ito lamang administrasyon ito ang nagbilunsad. Sabi nga ni Sekbar kanina, by design ng programa na talagang nakatuon sa sustainability o tinatawag na life support systems. Number 1, na-experiencehan na ba ng Pilipinas na magdeklara ng total lockdown sa Pilipinas? Never. In the past administrations, they attempted, but they failed. But only in this administration that the government issued an executive order number 23, declaring total logging ban in the entire country. So, dito, kung mayroon ho kayo makikitang logging, illegal na kagad yan. At pwedeng hulihin. At kung mayroon pa ho kayong alam na nag-ooperate na lang yung concession, sabihin nyo sa akin, masasara ko bukas. Wala na po ngayon. Yan ay diniklara ni Pangulo. Second, as we stop also timber harvesting, we also have to plan because we cannot live without timber anyway. We cannot live without wood. So, kailangan magtanim tayo. So, ang ginawa ni President Aquino, nag-issue rin siya ng Executive Number 26 declaring the biggest tree planting activity in the whole country, which is the National Greening Program. And at the same time, nag-issue siya ng ruling sa extractive industries, particularly mining, on how to regulate mining properly. By gusto niya, kung gusto mong magmina, ay dapat sustainable, malinis, at kung po pwede, optimize yung revenue ng state. Kasi yung pong mina ay isa pong activity na non-renewable or finite resource. Therefore, pag in-extract mo yan ngayon, you deprive the future generation. So the best way to do it is to, if you will allow it, is to get the optimal benefit now and invest it to certain activities that will benefit the future generation, like education, like long-term infra, and so on and so on. So, ginawa ho lahat ni President Aquino.
Currently associated with Sunstar. I'd like to ask Secretary Antonino, a year ago or 2 years ago, we had with the media, kasama po kayo, we had a conversations related sa talking about Mindanao Power. You once said that there was this plan, Mindanao Power Company or Corporation, something, and now we have na-experience na naman natin to. Tanong lang po, as a Minda perspective ng Minda, what could be the analysis? What could be something wrong with the current situation compared to the other? Is it coordination, funds, policy, or performance?
Hindi po coordination or anything like that. First, I'd just like to state here that it's only in the Aquino government na nagkaroon tayo po ng atensyon sa pagpapagawa ng ating Agus Pulangi to the tune of 4.5 billion pesos. Pati po yung program ng INREM, that is intended for the power to be more sustainable. Kasi nga yung ating pong headwater, medyo katulad ngayon, yung ating tribo po na nandito ngayon, they're the ones taking care of the headwater in Bukidnon. Ito po yung isa sa pangangalaga ng ating hydro power plants, no? Now, alam naman natin, palaging sinasabi yan ni Presidente Aquino, na matagal kasi ang pagpaplano o paggawa ng isang generating power. But at the minimum of 3 to 4 years ito. So, bale, during the term of the President Aquino, ngayon sa 2015, wala pang po siya, magpo 4 years pa lang po siya, papasok na po ang mga around 600 megawatts. And by 2015, or the earliest will be in 2014, the last quarter, 300 kaagad po ang papasok, and then 2015, we will be sufficient. Nagkakaroon po tayo ng brownouts ngayon, and just like to explain, unang-una, nasira po yung stayag natin. Napakalaki po ang nawala, 200 megawatts kagad. But back on the grid na ang 100, and hopefully, the first week of June, babalik yung another 100. But again, nagtitipid po ang ating paglabas ng sa hydro, because we have to take care dahil meron pong prediction na magkakaroon ng El Nino, and mas dangerous po yung maging below critical level kasi hindi na po tatakbo yung ating mga turbines. Kaya po, hinay-hinay ang paglabas ng tubig to run our turbines. And kaya po nagkakaano tayo. But pagpasok po ng 2016, it will the power will be sufficient for Mindanao. Ang problema lang po, hindi po natin na-predict na baka marami na tayo at the rate investors are asking about Mindanao, baka dumami po ng dumami ang pangailangan. That is why meron pong naka-standby dyan na request ang San Miguel Corporation na 1,000 megawatts. So yan po lahat na ito ay nagawa lang po dito during the Aquino administration. That's what I just want to stress now. And there was an EO80 mandating a one-stop shop. Dito po ay nagawa na po natin sa Minda yung 162 signatures. Kasama na po dyan ang DNR at DILG, yung mga permit po galing sa mayor, yun ang medyo matagal-tagal. DNR din po yung ECC. But nagkaroon na po kami ng engagement with all these agencies para yung proseso po na aming binilang ang araw ay 762 days ay baka lalo na pag renewable energy 6 months to 1 year na po ang pag-process nito. Kaya we're looking very optimistic about our power situation here in Mindanao. Thank you.
Sir, I understand there was a total ban by President Peru and it was implemented. Pero I was wondering the other night, the anti-logging task force of Mayor Moreno just got up with 10 to 50 logging trucks, and they presume they already estimated that almost 100 logging trucks came into the city every night. So I was wondering, sana man sa nagaling ng kahoy na yan. Again, does it come from army? I mean, we have been told the same old story since 1990.
Iklaro niyo muna gusto. Iklaro niyo gusto. Yung, ang dineclare natin is total ban in the natural forest. Ang kagandahan po niyan is that, ibigay ko siya yung perspective. Dati-dati, ang mga laging concession, gusto umakit ng gubat, may dalang chainsaw, at pababa may dalang troso. Ang gusto natin, magtanim naman kayo. Meaning, do not harvest what God planted. Harvest what you planted. So, na-encourage natin ngayon na magtanim. Kung gusto mong, gusto mong kumain ng bigas, magtanim ka ng palay. Gusto mong gumamit ng kahoy, magtanim ka ng puno. So, yan ang gusto namin iparating. At dito ho sa Mindanao, pag iliparan nyo ho ang Mindanao, magmula rito, especially Agusan Sur, Agusan Norte, part of Usamis, marami na ho dyan plantations na sa Butuan nga ho, very common yung sa kasabihan, Papa, magtutuition po ako bukas. O sige anak, pumutol ka ng 4, may pang-tuition ka na. Ang falkata ho dito sa Mindanao is almost a daily commodity. Yung ginagawang plywood, ginagawang lumber, palkata na ho tayo based. Even yung dito sa Cagayan de Oro gawaan ng paleta o pang-crate ng mga prutas, daily ho ang konsumo nyo niyan. Lahat po yan planted species na. So dapat i-contradistinguish po ninyo yung tumatakbong truck na ang laman ay planted at saka yung truck na ang laman ay natural. Madali ho makita yan. Ang natural is almost triple size.
Yeah, I know, sir. Hindi siguro nagkamali rin yung anti-logging task force na.
Kung hinuli po yan, that means at least we are effective, hinuhuli na natin. Dati-dati, ang sasabihin, laging galing sa laging concession yan, kaya yan ay legal. So ngayon, at least pag nakita mo natural, automatically illegal. Kaya ho ang napagawa naming silya dyan, ang Caraga has already declared zero backlog sa chairs ang DepEd. Because lahat po nang nakukumpis ka naming kahoy, ginagawa naming silya. Dati-dati ho yan, pagkakumpis ka, ino-auction, binibenta, ang nakakabili yung illegal logger din. Ngayon ho, wala na silang paraan ma-recover yan because ang instruction ni Pinoy, pagkakumpis ka, gawing silya, ibigay sa DepEd para gawing upuan ng mga bata. So, I think we have already given more than 150,000 chairs to DepEd. And we have confiscated last year alone close to 25 million board feet. And now it is down to almost 3 million. Meaning it's really coming down. Kasi hindi na rin naman sila makapagpalusot. So at least, alam na natin na pag illegal, hindi na pwede nilang papilan. But of course, we also have to encourage harvesting of planted species.
What is Catalan Tribal Federation opinion about the project? Can you share with us?
Nga po din. Yung project, ginagawa namin yung consultation sa stakeholder ng lugar. Series of consultation ang ginagawa namin para malaman namin dahil yung konsepto ng trip namin hindi lang galing sa mga leaders ang decision kung hindi lahat galing sa mga bata hanggang sa matatanda. Yun ang ginagawa namin.
Mentioned kanina about the National Greening Program being ang question po policy is commoditization of the planted forest is a policy in the National Greening Program. Kasi I cannot in my mind put together planting the forest and then cutting them afterwards. Hindi ko po maintindihan yun. Why will you plant the forest and cut them afterwards? We should let them be, di ba? Kasi how can we get our yung mga 400,000 na
Napakaganda ho ng katanungan nyo. I really want the question because it's so beautiful for the people to understand that pumunta ho kayo sa ibang bansa, they cut forest every day. But if you see their forest, it is 90% forested. Why? Even in Europe, for example, wherein it takes 100 years to grow a timber, but still they are 100% or 90% forested. Dito sa atin, it only takes 10 years to grow a timber because we have 365 days of rainfall and 365 days of sunshine. Ang growth increment ng puno natin dito is almost 4 cm. Sa Europe is half a centimeter. So sa atin, in 10 years, you have 40 cm diameter. Harvestable na. So you can harvest your tree, maybe in your lifetime, 3 to 4 times. In Europe, if you plant a tree, it will be your children and grandchildren who will harvest it. But, bakit tayo hindi nagtatanim? Ang problema sa atin ay yung minsan, yung tama ka, yung policy nga natin, pag tanimin mo, baka hindi mo ma-harvest. Meron tayong ganyang situation eh. Yun nga gusto mong makita na pag tinanim mo, huwag mo nang i-harvest. Pero ang concept po niya napakadali. If you plant, for example, 1,000 hectares, sa 1,000 hectares lang, ang rotation na tinatawag namin dyan, 10-year rotation. Meaning you divide the 10,000 hectares into 10 blocks. That means 100 per block, di ba?
Square meters.
100 hectares. Kung 1,000 hectares, di ba 100 hectares ka per block? In 10 years, dapat harvestable yung isa, di ba? So pag tinaniman mo to, next year dito ka, pagdating mo sa 10th block, harvestable na yung first block mo. Therefore, if you clear cut even the first block, you are still 90% forested. Di ba? So, even if you harvest 10%, you are still 90% forested. Ang requirement lang namin is only 70% forest cover. 70 to 80. But if you put up a plantation, it can go up to 90. See? So, may kita ka pa. Nag-harvest ka pa. Kaya nga ang sabi ni Pinoy, yung NGP niya, hindi lamang siya environmental project, it is also a poverty reduction project.
There is no intention to restore the permeable forest there.
Ano, iba pa po yung tinatawag namin,
Plantation lang talaga yan.
iba pa po yung tinatawag naming restoration. Yung nire-restore nating natural forest, that will really be for biodiversity purposes.
That's what
That will, yun yung sinasabi mo. Pero pag nagtanim ka, dapat payagan kang mag-harvest. Why? Ikaw, pag tanimin kita ng palay, pag i-harvestin mo, sabihin mo, the government says you cannot harvest your corn or you cannot harvest your palay, would you be happy?
Iba yung palay, sir.
The only difference between palay and tree is the duration. 6 months dito, 10 years dito, but they are both crops. Diba? So we must allow people to harvest if they plant. But they cannot harvest the natural because that is for biodiversity purposes and that is also for climate change purposes already. Ano?
Just clarify. Sir, earlier you mentioned the proposal for oil palm plantations or 8 million hectares. As it is today, sir, there are land conflicts. between overlapping jurisdiction between DNR and DAR and overlapping things for CATP, CBFM, and other stuff. How would you propose that land conflict would be avoided if the proposal for the land plantations are approved? As it is, this coming May 26, farmers from Bukidnon and Caraga and Davao will be going to Manila to protest against Secretary Cruz Reyes for his failure to deliver on CARP. And some issues are also based on land coverage between DNR and DAR. How would you propose that the land conflict would be avoided?
By the way, first, we have already approved the policy that rubber and palm oil can be used as reforestation species. Pwede na po yan. Pinagagamit na namin because we must really use our land. Sabi ko nga, we have 8 million hectares of open, denuded, and degraded lands. It's useless. You are not generating income from these lands. You know, if you go even to, sabi ko nga kanina, even for Economics 101, the teacher will tell you that the best capital is land. In the Philippines, we have 8 million of that, and we're not using it. If we can only make it productive to the tune of 100,000 pesos per hectare per year. Sabi ko nga, banana is declaring 250, coffee is declaring 125, cacao is almost 150 also. Per year, per hectare per year. If only we can make our land earn to the tune of 100,000 pesos per hectare per year, 8 million hectares times 100,000, that is a whooping 800 billion per year. That means this country is losing 800 billion yearly as we speak, mainly because we are not utilizing our lands properly. Yan ho ang problema ng Pilipinas. Sabi ko nga kanina, Indonesia has only around 7.2 million hectares of plantation, rubber, palm oil, soy, timber, and orchard. But they are saying, I have not verified the figures, but they are claiming that they are generating $50 billion per year of revenue. Ano po ba ang $50 billion? That is almost equivalent to the national budget of the Republic of the Philippines. Gustong sabihin, plantation lamang ng Indonesia kayang patakbuhin o pondohan ang gobyerno ng Republika ng Pilipinas. And we have 8 million of that. Not only 7.2 but 8 million of that. So, if we can only develop our lands, let minus this conflict, maski private land yan o forest land yan, just make it productive. And that policy is now being practiced by us now.
Magandang kontakan. Wala, una-una ay nagpapasalamat tayo na hindi nagtagumpay ito. At pinaparangalan natin yung PNP na kahit wounded, no, yung detachment head ay, at kanyang mga kasamahan ay na-repel nila more or less 30. Yung bilang ay 30 itong fully armed NPA attackers na ito. Of course, hindi natin gusto or nais na mangyari ito sa kahit anong bahagi ng Pilipinas. At kung ano man ang mga programa ng gobyerno ay unti-unti nababawasan itong dahilan para maging rebelde. Ganun pa man, may mga rebelde talaga na ang nais talaga ay manggulo at alisin o palitan, no, ang gobyerno at ang sistema ng gobyerno. Palitan, alisin yung demokrasya dito at nang sa ganun sila naman yung kanilang pananaw na communist system ang umiral dito. Of course, lalabanan natin yan dahil hindi yan ang kultura natin, hindi yan ang kabahagi ng Pilipino. Just on a technical note, yung AFP at saka yung PNP ay pinaigting na yung ating tinatawag na Joint Regional Commands, no? Yung area commands na tinatawag. No? Nandito si RD Gani Hanabe, may mga nireport siya sa akin tungkol sa pagpaparami ng mga tao ng AFP dito sa region na ito. At maaari na nangyari ito dahil nga lumakas ang presensya ng gobyerno dito sa Region 10. So, umiwas sila sa enkwentro at doon naman sila naghanap sa Cotabato. Of course, all out ang ating puwersa ng PNP. At alam ko rin, ganun din, ayon sa kay Sec Bolts, ang puwersa ng AFP. At kung ano man ang mga operation na kakailanganin, ay isasagawa ng ating mga security forces dahil talagang kailangan na kailangan yung katahimikan, yung kapayapaan, yung kasiguruhan. Kasiguruhan sa buhay, kasiguruhan sa propriedad, kasiguruhan sa stabilidad ng ating mga local government units. Kaya gagawin, there are ongoing chase operations, pursuit operations, at ito naman ay kabahagi ng programa ng Estado para sa kasiguruhan.